A place of outstanding beauty, but long industrial decline. And as pit frames in the northeast turn to rust, so have lives. Levelling up here has become much more complex than just investment in hollowed-out towns. Cuts in services, community centres, and pressures on health provision seem to have created another problem: addiction, often to drugs handed out by GPs.
Everybody's getting them. The doctors think it's the new wonder drug and they can't see the problem they're causing. I don't know why they can't see that problem.
Justine beat an addiction to heroin and was clean for 12 years, but says the drug her doctor later prescribed for pain relief was, for her, an even greater challenge.
I said, I need something like ibuprofen, but maybe it's a bit stronger. And that's when they prescribed us the pregabalin. Very addictive, more addictive than anything I've ever taken in my lifetime.
More addictive than heroin?
Yes.
Soon she was topping up on the black market.
I was taking 10 a day.
So you were taking 3,000 milligrams?
Yes, yes.
Costing you £25 a day?
I don't know how I'm alive.
Sky News research shows a distinct north-south divide over the prescription of high-dose opioids per head of population. In the northeast, it's 3 times higher than in London. For example, a practice in Durham with fewer than 20,000 patients prescribes over 1 million milligrams of opioids a month. And while opioid use has fallen slightly in recent years, prescriptions of other painkillers, such as pregabalin given to Justine, are on the increase. Again, the northeast and Cumbria an outlier, twice the national average per head of population. Justine is housed by Positive Directions, which helps accommodate vulnerable people. Bev is one of its support workers and says there's very little help available for those suffering from mental health and addiction problems.
For the last year, there's been a lot of suicides through drugs and people not getting help. People really depressed, can't get any help from anywhere, getting told that there's nobody can come out to see them because there's not enough staff.
Bev is visiting Erin, another recovering addict.
In my mind, it was OK to do this because it was prescribed off a doctor, but I've paid the price. I have paid the price.
Erin asked for help after becoming addicted to morphine. She says the one place in Durham that treats addiction is often rife with dealers outside.
If you really want to stay clean, it's really not the place. You know, if you really want to score a hit, go outside of Winnie Hill.
Others told us the Humankind Rehab Centre on Winnie Hill was a place where drugs were regularly sold or exchanged outside, so we decided to have a look. Within minutes, a social worker we were with was offered heroin. The company told us Humankind takes any reports of drug use, sharing of drugs or dealing within our centres extremely seriously, and we have strong, well-communicated policies in place prohibiting these acts. Anyone found to be dealing, sharing or using drugs on a Humankind site will be challenged and reported to the police, and any claims of drug dealing are investigated thoroughly. However, Director of Housing Group Positive Directions says the problem is GPs are essentially creating the clientele for a new black market.
It's a time bomb that's been simmering under the surface for quite some time now. What we're encountering is an explosion in prescribed drugs from the GPs. And certainly on the black market. I know from speaking to numerous people, a lot of people have been accessing drugs from the dark web.
Clinical academics in the region are also concerned, and a programme's being launched to contact those on high-dose opioids, offering them help.
Primary care is overwhelmed at the moment. Time is very precious in short GP consultations. And I think sometimes it might just be easier when a patient wants a tablet for a GP to prescribe or to continue to prescribe a medication.
Indeed, the head of pharmacy in the region says evidence on these drugs has changed and the health service needs to take note.
The conversation is changing and we're starting to talk more about non-drug treatments, non-medicines for the treatment of chronic pain, because we know that the harm that can be done by opioids, certainly in long-term pain, outweighs the benefits. So we've all got to re-educate ourselves. People like me who were educated 20 years ago have got to change the way that we think about things.
It's feared that the populations in towns like this one are falling into a vicious cycle of deprivation, depression, and then medication, which only adds addiction to their long list of problems.
There's no help for people. How are they going to break the cycle? There's nobody to break the cycle, of not working. They've got like no help, they've got no jobs, they've got like no future, they have no dreams.
This region is far from levelling up, and one reason perhaps is that pills are no substitute for a lack of services and a lack of hope. Jason Farrell, Sky News.